can be what you want to be. Be what you want to be. You just be what you want to be with me.
Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to another episode of Happy AF. My name is Sambowker. I am your host, and I gotta tell you people, it is only because I am so freaking committed to my vision of doing this show every week that I am here today, because every single possible thing that could go wrong has felt like it's gone wrong. From my microphone not working, to the lighting not working, to my phone continually falling out of the phone jack. And I have to tell you, more than once I've gone, that's it, fuck it, I'm not going to do it today, blah, 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 blah. And I've chucked that many tantrums in the last few hours. And I want to share with you why I've decided to still show up. My microphone may not be working. My phone may have bounced out, and we're just going to hope and pray it doesn't bounce out of the holder that it is currently in. I'm feeling a bit rough around the edges. I'm feeling a little bit fluey, not feeling super flash. But as I was sitting earlier today thinking about what I wanted to share, and I have so many different things going on right now that I'm wanting to share, that my mind was getting confused. And I was like, all right. So I sat and I meditated and I watched a little bit of stuff for inspiration. And then when I started wanting to film and all of these obstacles and roadblocks came up, I was like, do you know what? Today I want to share with you how important it is to be clear on your vision, because all these little roadblocks and obstacles are going to come along, right? It doesn't matter what it is you are trying to do in this lifetime, you are going to have hurdles that you need to overcome. And if you are not like epically, totally committed to the outcome, then when these things happen, you're going to do what I did before and go, fuck it, it's not important, and you're going to quit. So when I decided to sit down today and go, you know what, fuck it. Okay, I might look a bit shiny. I couldn't get the lights right. I couldn't get it. Nothing seemed to work the way that I wanted it to work. And it reminded me of a couple of things that I want to share with you. And I hope this is helpful for you, okay? Don't let perfect get in the way of better. This is number one. Don't let perfect get in the way of better. Because you know what? Perfection is the birthplace of anxiety. It is the number one thing that is going to stop people from going out and trying things that they want to try. And the reason that we run around with this badge of honor around being perfectionists is because, well, two things, I believe, right? One is that we're worried about failing. So we run around and we say, I'm a perfectionist, I have to get it right. No, that's not right. No, it's not good enough. No, it's important. I've got to put it out there and it's got to be just so. But what that does is that that protects us, right, from other people's judgment. And the funny thing is that we care just as much about some faceless stranger on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter who comments on our posts, right? Sally69 or Jack Jimbo Pop 64, like whatever. We care just as much, it seems, about those guys and what our mum or dad thinks. And you know what? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what this person or that person, and the silly thing is, right, this person I don't even know, this person clearly I care about, it's my parents, I care what they think. But the funny thing is that when you are out in this lifetime doing the thing that you want to do, whatever that thing is, people are going to have opinions about it. People are going to judge you. And you know what other people think of you is none of your business. You got to let that shit go. So when I was sitting here this morning getting really frustrated with all of my technology and it wasn't working, and I honestly, I let myself off the hook multiple times. I was like, I'm just not going to do it. Nah, look, it doesn't matter. I'm not really feeling well, and you know, and it's just not going to look as good, and I don't even really know what I want to share today, and you know, is it going to land? Is it of value? Maybe I'm not supposed to do an episode today. Maybe this is the universe. Oh, that's a good one, right? I don't know. Do you guys use that one? I use that excuse. Maybe the universe doesn't want me to share this message. Maybe the message I'm wanting to share today isn't really of value and it's not going to land. And, you know, all of that is bullshit. It is just your excuse system. It is your inner critic. It is your worry and fear of being judged by people that is going to stop you from doing these things. So you know what? Don't let perfect get in the way of better. Get really clear on where it is you want to go, what it is that you want to do, and ask yourself, does this thing that you're trying to do, does it energize you? Does it excite you? Does it make you want to move forward and progress? I was listening to Gary Vee this morning, right? For those of you that don't know him, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a cool guy. He's he's got so many different balls in the air. And I was really loving the way that he was talking about the fact that life's pretty simple, essentially, right? Life is pretty simple, but because it's so simple, it's actually incredibly complex. And the way that he describes it is he talks about the fact that people are so worried about failing, right? They are so worried about failing. They're worried about what people are going to think that they don't even try. And more importantly, they've only got one thing they're focused on. So he talked about the fact that he has got millions of balls in the air, right? And I can relate with that because my friend asked me how I was traveling earlier in the week. And I was like, you know what? I just feel like I'm juggling a lot of balls. And I'm always going to juggle a lot of balls. I'm always going to have lots of those balls in the air because one of them is going to pay off, right? And they're not always all going to pay off, but I let go of that failure piece a while ago, right? It's still a work in progress. When I say I let go of it, it's not like it doesn't enter my brain. It's not like I don't ever think about failure. But what I do know is that every time I feel that fear and I feel that concern about failing, I ask myself, whose opinion right now is it that I'm, worried about? Is it my opinion? Do I think it's any good? Is it someone else's opinion? Whose judgment? What is it that's going on right now that's stopping me from jumping headfirst into this? And more importantly, is this the only thing, right? Because there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And so as Gary was talking about, and as I was thinking on this week about all the different balls I had in the air, I was like, well, I'm working on this and I'm working on that and I'm working on this. And at different times, different parts of those things are going to come together. And do they all come together at the same time? No, not often, right? Typically, one thing will be working, something else won't be, right? So where is your energy and your focus? So I found lately, that I have been doing a lot of reflecting and I've been doing a lot of kind of contemplation about what do I want to have happen moving forward, right? What do I want the next 12 months of my life to look like? And I found myself being, feeling quite tired as we come into the end of the year. And I'm sure everybody can relate. It's been a big year for most people, I would imagine, with COVID going on. And we had COVID again last year. And I think there's been a lot of moving parts. And I've noticed a lot of people transitioning and changing and moving forward. So I think, as we come into December 2022, I don't know about you, but I'm well and truly ready for a break. But I'm also really excited about what's coming next year because I have drawn a line in the sand. I have made a decision about things that are going to happen next year. And so in my mind, because I've written them down, I'm speaking them into reality, I am confident, right, that they're already done. It's not like they're going to happen. It's just like it is done. It is done. It is done. So when you sit back and think about your year, and when you think about where you want to go, are you happy with where you're at? Do you feel like you've won the game of life in 2022? Are you confident about where you want to go next year, what you want to have happen? And have you got the resources and the plans in place? Have you got the people, like the tribe, to support you in achieving those outcomes next year? Because what I know for certain is proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. And although my old mantra used to be the plan is there is no plan, I realize that plan or that mantra really just let me off the hook and stopped me from having to hold accountability for myself, which really was steeped in my fear of failing, because if I didn't write it down and I didn't make a plan, then I couldn't measure it, and then I wouldn't know if I'd achieved it, and then I could lie to myself and tell myself that I was doing okay. So as I sit here reflecting and looking at all of the things that have happened in the last 24 hours, for instance, to get to where I am right now and how I'm feeling about this situation, I've noticed that I'm able to go back and measure, okay, well, that thing was working and I set out to do that and I did this, and what are my plans for next year? So, those of you that have been following my journey would know that I've been sharing with you guys about my journey with ADD and taking medication and being on the medication and stopping the medication. And I have to tell you, the jury is still out, right? I'm not on medication today. I'm finding my brain is a little bit all over the joint, but I've also found myself feeling a little bit reliant on it, and I'm not liking that feeling. So as I move into December, I'm like, okay, well, take a break. See if we can kind of like do some days without it. And what does that look like? And I've watched my energy levels like this, right? Now, if I speak to some of my friends, they'll go, oh my God, it's the moon. And oh my God, you're coming into that stage of life or this season. And they'll have all of these explanations. And although all of those things may be true, I feel like the medication has contributed to that as well. And so as I sit here, filming my episode of Happy AF, one of the last episodes of 2022, I have to say, I'm feeling pretty proud of the fact that I'm still here. You know, I filmed my first episode at the beginning of the year. It's now December. So my first episode was the 31st of January. This is probably going to be my third last episode or fourth last episode for the year. And I'm able to reflect back and go, okay, what have I done well? What do I need to do better? What do I want to work on? What am I achieving? What is my overarching vision? So I'm just going to put it out there. This is what 2023 is going to look like for me. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to tell you what I feel like I did well this year. And I'm going to encourage you to sit down and reflect on this yourself, right? First and foremost, I want you to check in with yourself. Did you have any major goals this year, right? Did you write them down, or were they just in your mind? If you wrote them down, how did you go? Did you achieve all of the things that you set out to achieve? Some of my major goals for this year, one was this show. So I'm going to do a big, massive tick on that because I have been pretty consistent, bar a couple of weeks throughout the year. I've pretty much filmed every week since January, okay? And I've improved, and I've had obstacles I've had to overcome, and I've had trips. I've done all of these things, but I have shown up, and I've done my show, right? I set a plan to go snowboarding with my daughter. I did that. I set a plan to get myself a new coach. I did that, right? I set a plan to train more and be really consistent with my personal training. I've done that. I've consistently shown up. I also set a plan to go and do a mini marathon or something like that, and I haven't done that, and I'm feeling a bit disappointed in myself around that. However, you know what? I will look at that again next year. And clearly I didn't make it as exciting as it could have been, otherwise I would have achieved it. But essentially all the key things I was really keen on, I did. Oh, and I ran a retreat for the first time in a couple of years. And that was something that wasn't necessarily on my, the beginning of the year, but it was something that I achieved. And so I want you to ask yourself, firstly, do you know what you wanted to achieve this year? And have you ticked off? Have you celebrated your successes? One of the things that we as humans do is that we're really terrible at celebrating our wins, right? And I am absolutely really bad at this, okay? This is definitely a work in progress for me. I am always looking for what's the next thing, because I'm obsessed with the chase. And then once I get it, it's kind of like meh, and on to the next thing. And I've realized that what that does is creates a pattern of, well, if we have to work really hard and then we don't even celebrate, what's the point? And so I've really needed to assess and look at that. So I want you to ask yourself, do you write stuff down? Do you celebrate your wins? And now as we're going into next year, what does it look like? Are you already starting to plan, or are you one of those people that is going to sit there on New Year's Eve and write out some New Year's resolutions, which by the 5th of January, you'll have forgotten all about, and you'll just let next year happen to you? Proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. So you can either have the mentality that the plan is there is no plan, and planning to fail, or failing to plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan, planning. Oh my God. Planning. I can't even remember how it goes now. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Far out. Planning to fail. This is like a total tongue twister. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So, are you planning to fail next year, or are you going to make a plan? Are you going to get crystal clear on where it is that you want to go next year? If you're keen to start the year with a bang, if you're keen to really kind of think about making a bit of a plan, then go ahead and chuck it in the chat. Message me. You know how to find me, okay? I'm everywhere on social media, and I will send you a free copy of my planning journal, okay? And it will set you up for the beginning of next year so that you can start. It's free. It's a download. I'll email you a link. All you got to do is just tell me that you want it. But this is a way that you can start planning your year ahead of time, so that when you go into next year, you can be well and truly on track for achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So here are some of the things, not in any particular order, that I'm going to be doing next year. And as far as I'm concerned, they are done, right? I'm going to do a TED Talk. I'm going to run more retreats. I've got the first one coming up in March. I've got another 3 booked after that. I'm going to run 4 fully booked out mind mastery retreats. I'm going to have my fully booked out mind mastery mentorship group program, which I'm loving doing because I'm getting to work with people and help them really tap into their fabulosity and go out and create, profitable lifestyle businesses that excite them, that make them feel happy, that make them feel joy, and more importantly, have them out there sharing their genius in the world. We talk a lot about passion, guys, but you know what? Forget passion, forget purpose just for a second and ask yourself this. Does the thing that you do light you up? Does it energize you? Does it make you feel good? Because honestly, if it's not energizing you, like your energy is going to be something that is going to determine how much effort you want to put into something. If something energizes you and makes you feel like, rah, you're going to want to do it. If it doesn't, then it's time to do a reflect. It's time to do a bit of a life audit. Guys, we work so much in this lifetime. If we are not doing something that fills us up, that lights us up, that makes us feel good, that we enjoy, if we're not doing that, what's the point? Like, I don't know about you, but when I am, finished this lifetime, many, many eons from now, and I'm looking back on life, I want to know that I took every opportunity, that I made every moment count. I want to know that I did it to the max and I had nothing left in the tank. And for me, that means doing this kind of work, right? This is not my natural landscape, but I know that I want to help more people learn how to do happy. I want people to be happy AF, free, fun, financial, happy as you fill in the blank. You know what I mean. I want people to go out there and do that thing that makes their heart sing, which means you guys are going to have to let go of what other people think. It's none of your business. People are going to judge you no matter what you do. So as long as you are going to be worrying about their judgment, you are never going to really do that thing that you want. So let it go. Let go of the judgment. Let go of other people's opinions. Let go of people not liking you, people not loving you and not accepting you. Because you know what? To quote Dr. Seuss, those that matter don't mind. Oh my God, I can't get anything together today. All right, this is what happens when maybe I haven't had my medication. Those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. That's what Dr. Seuss had to say. So you know what? The people that really matter in life, they're not going to mind who it is that you show up and be. They're going to want you to be your authentic, fabulous self. They're going to want you to be shiny AF. And if they don't, maybe it's time to up level and find a few new cool people to hang out with. So listen, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I apologize for all the stuff-ups, but this is my real authentic self. This is me without my microphone working. This is me with my shiny forehead. This is me being as real as I can be. And I hope you've enjoyed Happy AF. So go out there and write a list. Look at reflecting on your year. Did you do well? Do you want to do better next year? What are you going to measure next year so that you know? Proper preparation and planning, it prevents piss poor performance, my friends. And if you go out there, get clear on your vision, get clear on why you want to do it, and then write down some very clear, actionable, or very clear sort of outcomes that you want to achieve, it's going to happen, right? It is going to happen. Act as if it is done. The power of your intention is everything. All right, my friends. Oh my gosh, seriously struggling with my language today. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Big hugs. Bye.
You just